Hello everyone. I know it's been a little while since I have done a video update. You can kind of thank COVID for that. And I also had my daughter back in September, so we've had a lot going on. But I did want to make just a quick QA video. I noticed that a lot of people are still commenting on my videos and they have some questions. And again, feel free to ask questions. That's why I made that video originally. But I do want to make a follow-up video to answer some of the questions that I have been asked. So the first question on my list is, can you explain to me how you sell stuff? Someone said you just trade, but then how do people say selling so-and-so for 10 chibis? Do you trade something worth 10 chibis? So initially, my response to this would be yes. The way that works is that, so let me show you the shards, for example. That's the perfect example that I have. Let me just scroll. Well, it won't be there. So these shards, a lot of people are selling the birthstone shards, 5 shards for 1 chibi. So if you had 10 chibis, you would want to buy 50 birthstone shards. And the way that you get that number, you would just, you know that it's 5 for 1 chibi, so you have 10 chibis, just multiply 10 by 5, you get 50. So you would initially get 50 birthstone shards. Now the way that you would initiate a trade, so I actually did one the other day. So you would click on the little plus sign in the bottom left hand corner, and then you would just click on the item that you wanted to trade, and then you're going to click on OK, and then you're going to hit the send button. I'm not going to hit the send button because I don't really want to trade this item. However, typically you would just hit the send button. That's going to send it over to the other player. So the other player is going to click on that, and then they're going to choose what items they wanted to trade you for that item. And then they're going to do the same thing. They're going to click on the send button, and it's going to come back to you. Whenever it comes back to you, they're going to ask you if you want to confirm that trade. You're just going to click on OK, and then it's going to be a done deal. It is an easier way of trading compared to the way it used to be. Trading used to be a lot more difficult. There was a lot of scamming involved because we didn't have hey guys, sorry about that. My last video got interrupted. But as I was saying, the way that the trades used to work is we always had to gift each other the items. So some people would send the items that they were supposed to, and then the other people wouldn't send what they were supposed to. So I definitely like the new trading style better. I like the way that plays out. And then my next question that I'm being asked is, where is the furniture key? So let me see, honestly, if I can find it myself. That would be a good start. I believe it would be maybe in items and not in showcase. So okay, so I'm going to scroll over to find item and then click on key or type in key. And there's a PIM key. So that should be how you find your furniture keys as well. I wasn't sure if you were talking about the PIM key or if you were talking about a different key. But you would just scroll down to items and then scroll over to find item, type in key right here, and then you're going to see your keys and probably some other random objects. Okay, so explain selling stat items. The next question for that one is going to be, can you tell me how to sell stat items? So stat items are a little bit tricky. Your stat items are going to be located here. All of these items are going to be stat items. So your monthly, I guess, I really don't even remember what these are called, but they're just going to be your monthly, I guess, box items, or spinner items rather. You would have to collect 5 of these, and then you have 4 items. So altogether you need 20 items to combine into one big stat item. So as you see, this one has 5,000 strength, 5,000 intelligence. That's not very high. That's very low. All of your stat items, honestly, you're going to look for 1,000,000 combined stats or higher. Those are your objectives, your goals for stat items. Those are the best ones that you can get. There are other ones out there. You've got the 3,000,000 combined stat items, and I believe there's ones that go higher than that as well. But you always want to go for the 1,000,000 combined stat items or higher. So the way that selling those would work, it really just depends. Some people do different prices. I will say typically, whenever you're buying, say you wanted to buy a cat for a cat cafe party, which is an EC party. If you wanted to buy a cat, you're probably going to pay 2 to 3 bentos per cat, right? With that being said, you can also trade 3,000,000 combined stats for a cat. So with that being said, that kind of gives me a price range. So to sell stat items, you can trade them just like I showed a few minutes ago what a trade was. You can trade them just like that. However, I would not pay more than 2 or 3 bentos for a 3,000,000 combined stat item. And for anyone who does not know, 40 chibis makes up a bento. So you're really paying 120 chibis or 3 bentos for a 3,000,000 combined stat item. So yeah, I wouldn't pay more than that for one, and that's honestly on the pricier side. You can find them cheaper than that. Don't settle for the first thing that you find. That's another tip that I can always stress. Do not settle for the first thing that you find, because the first thing that you find is not always going to be the best thing, and you're probably going to find something cheaper. And if you can wait a little while before you buy them, like the birthstone shards, for example, they're going 5 for 1 chibi right now. If you check back in 6 months from now, 3 months from now, you're probably going to find someone that's doing 10 shards per chibi. So, I mean, it really just depends on how new the item is as well. And then my next question, how would I do calculations if I am at 800K? I'm assuming you mean how do you explain the stat numbers? So the way that you're going to do that, you're going to click on your Abby, and you see right here I have 4,388,000 strength, roughly. I'm going to estimate. And then I have the same amount of intelligence. So what you would do, you would get out your calculator. 4,388, we're going to multiply that by 2. You have 8,776. So you were in the millions, but we rounded. So with that being said, that means that my combined stats is going to be 8.7 million. I think that's what you meant by that. If that is not what you meant, please comment on this video. Let me know exactly what you mean, and I can explain further if I need to. The next thing on my list is, can you explain how to volley a tutor? So the way that works, let me scroll down here. So my tutor, we'll go with this one. So they're definitely not active anymore. Excuse me. So the best tutors to get, honestly, are always going to be your non-active ones. With that being said, this one has not been active in probably quite some time. The way that they work, so you would click on the hire button, which is underneath their stats. You would click on the hire button, and whenever you click on that hire button, that you have bought them. They do get a portion of the money that you spend on them, up to $1 million. Once you are so high priced, they only get $1 million. But for a low level person, that's actually quite a bit of money to get them upgraded. That's the whole point. You volley back and forth. Typically, you can find someone, a friend or someone, who will volley them just back and forth with you so they can get money to upgrade. That's the whole goal. People do hire them away from you. If you have a good one, don't let that happen, because that's going to mess you up. My next thing, how do hunts work? Okay, so I'm actually going to pause here. I do have 2 other questions, but both of those do involve hunts and how hunts work. So I'm going to pause, and I'm going to make a part 2 to this video. I'm going to go ahead and end this one, and then we will see you for part 2, because part 2 is going to take me quite some time to explain. So I hope you guys like this video. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to comment on this one or the next one.